Welcome everybody to the channel. Now, you all know 20-minute videos par for the course for me, but hopefully, because I've done a little bit of prep over the last few weeks on this subject, you've seen the title, I thought we could probably do a quick let's say a quick recap on a product that we tried a few weeks ago. Now, you've probably seen recently, and there might be some videos coming up, where I use the Fortress paint. Now, the Fortress Satin, very impressed with. The Fortress Gloss, yeah, well, anyway, let's just go back to the Fortress Satin, very impressed with. And I was also very impressed with, picking them all up, table in front of me, the primer and undercoat, walls and wood. Now, on the side, it's quick drying. And what I was really interested in, it says suitable for interior, exterior, walls, wood and masonry. And the bottom line of the front of the tin, can we focus? Focus, please. I need a new camera that's got AI tracking. Come on. You can't see it. I'm going to say excellent adhesion. Now, that's what we want, excellent adhesion. If we're going over glossy surfaces, if I've got Doris the door around there and there's a glossy surface, it's nice to know that you're putting a water-based paint on that's got the adhesion properties to actually stick to, let's say, problem surfaces. Let's move that forward, because I get people messaging me privately through Instagram or through the Facebook pages and saying, Phil, I've got a scruffy uPVC front door, can I paint it with ordinary paint? Well, you can paint anything with anything, to be honest. You only need to drop a spot of masonry paint onto a floor tile, and you know what? It's the right swine to get off, isn't it? We all know that. It's the right swine to get off. So let's just try and make it a little bit more easier for people to understand. If you've got a uPVC door and you want to paint it, there's an array of paints out there that you can actually paint that door. But do those paints actually adhere and stick to the surface for a long-term let's call it a redecoration project, like painting a front door? Now, let's just go there. There's a video that I tried, Zinser All Coat Exterior, French Chic Alfresco and Bedeck MSP, and I used it on a sample piece of a door panel. Now, they're all water-based products. I wasn't looking at the opacity stroke, in inverted commas coverage. I was looking at how the paint performed on a uPVC surface with products that are supposedly water-based, that are geared up for using on uPVC. Now, watch that playlist. It's very, very interesting to see which paints actually performed better than others. But coming to this video, we've got a budget paint. We've got a Fortress paint that you can buy from Screwfix that's got an element to it, the USP, and it's excellent adhesion. Now, a number of weeks ago, and you might have seen the YouTube short that I did, can I paint uPVC? And I've got a few pieces of sample virgin, i.e. brand new, well, let's get rid of that. Brand new uPVC sections that are plastic, the uPVC. Prepared well, can we paint it with the Fortress stuff? I've already done it for you. I've already done it for you. Well, yeah, I can hear you saying, how do you prepare that? Again, I've got videos on how to prepare uPVC plastic. Clean it down. If you have not got the stuff that I've got, soapy water, bit of kitchen degreaser can be ideal. Get a Scotch Brite pad, you know, something like a scourer. Nothing too coarse that's going to actually scratch into the plastic, but you want something that's going to take that little bit of a sheen finish off to dull it down. So as long as you can dull that down slightly, sanding it with something, use whatever you want. I've even got fine Merca Gold Flex pads, and you can probably find those in the description of the link. I've even got fine Gold Flex Merca pads that are actually ideal. They don't scratch into the surface too much, but they do actually take that bit of a, let's call it a glossy, shiny finish off. and it helps it dull down. Let's say it just helps it dull down. But once you've done that, how are you going to clean it down to get any finger grease off? If you've got some methylated spirits, just wipe it with methylated spirit. Don't wipe it with white spirit, because white spirit's quite a greasy, it's got minerals. It's different between oils and minerals. White spirit leaves a little bit of a film to the surface that it's wiping and cleaning down. Yes, it's a good thinner for oil-based paints, but methylated spirits, which is denatured alcohol, actually evaporates away from the surface. So you can actually degrease and clean down with methylated spirits over your plastic. That will get any last residue, finger grease off and the likes, and get you a clean surface, and it doesn't leave something on that surface to contaminate the surface when you come to paint. So, right, cleaning down is quite simple, but let's talk about what it's like when you actually come to paint. Losing my voice. Right, I've already done this for you a number of weeks ago. I don't know whether you can see, if I can move my light at the side to the left, to the right, we'll see. I have done this with one coat of the primer, just there, two coats of the primer. I don't know whether you can see it. So I've got one coat, two coats, a first top satin coat, and then a second top satin coat. So there's actually 4 coats of paint on there. And how does it perform when we come to, I'm just looking what I've got. How does it perform when we come to a scratch test? Now, that first water-based coat on there, let's do me nail, because that's what everybody does. As I say, this has been done, its curing time is probably about 7 days. I've probably had this done well over a month, so it's had a good month to cure. I'm going to go with my nail. I've got quite a decent nail on there. If I try and scratch, I'm just looking, if I try and scratch that first primer coat with my nail, what's it doing? I can get a bit off, but it's only got one coat. We see. Focus there, please. Let's turn that off and do manual focus. Right, we're better. Let's keep with manual focus on this. I can scratch it off. When I come to a second coat, can you see that? I can't scratch the second coat off. That's with my nail. I cannot scratch that second coat off. No. First coat of satin. Going with my nail again. Nothing is coming off that. Second coat of the satin. We're focused on there, not focusing on me. I've got my nail again. Now I'm really digging in with my nail there to try and scratch the surface off. Do you know what? I'm really struggling. I'm really struggling to scratch that second coat off. Let's go back down to that first coat of primer, which is there. That starts coming away, but it's not coming away when it's had a second coat. And when I've got a first coat of satin on, it's not coming away. Second coat of satin, it's not coming away. Let's get you off manual focus. So, can I get away with a cheap paint doing uPVC? I'm going to say yes. I'm also going to say, budget allowing, I'm also going to say, let's be realistic. There are specialist paints out there, and I've got them on my table here, that are geared up for properly painting uPVC. But if you've just got something that's a quick job that you need to do to tidy something up, can you get away with some of the paints that are off the shelf? And I'm going to say, yes, you can. You can. Because this is a paint that, albeit 4 coats, once I've got 2 coats of the primer on, first coat, second coat, I can't move it with my nail. scratch testing, and once I'd got the second coats on of the top coat, that is not going anywhere. I would say that is acceptable for painting your front door if you want to tidy it up. Clearly I'm only using white. We could actually be using a colour and we could see it as a transformation. We've gone from a white to a white, but that is not coming off. I am impressed with that. Yes, I've said that is coming off on the first coat of primer. The second coat of primer, I can't move it. First coat to top coat is not moving, and I'm pressing hard with my nail. Top coat there, it's not coming off. Let me try and get something a bit sharper for you. I'm just been to the rear workshop behind my wall. I've got a piece of metal, it's a bracket, so I've got a sharp edge, a bit like using a coin. Let's go with it on that, just for a quickly finishing up. Right, it's leaving the aluminium marking. I'll take you off autofocus, back on manual. It leaves a mark. You'd expect that because of the alloy content of that. But I'd actually say with that, with the flat side of that, I am not actually not doing too much damage to that. It's still coming away, but it isn't terrific. Move to the second undercoat. If I press really hard, I'll say if I press really hard, I'm not really getting it off. It's not coming off. There. No. And then if I go, same with the edge, go to that first satin, no. And now I'm pressing really hard into that second. Pressing really hard into that second coat. Yes, I am marking the surface, if you can just see that. But do you know what? It's not coming off. So a conclusion. You can use a cheaper paint if it's got an adhesion property to paint your uPVC. And this paint, this satin, is an interior exterior, so there's no problem with that. But I will say I'm impressed because the budget paint, that's what we were saying, about £10, £12 for a tin. I painted that uPVC sample and literally for the finish, I can scratch it, but it isn't coming off. And I'm pressing really hard to make it try and come off. Look at that. It's not. So there you go. You can actually do painting with cheap paints. I'm going to say over and out. See you on the next one. Watch the videos at the end.